Welcome to Fathers and Daughters, a podcast where we discuss important topics and current issues from a biblical perspective that are relative to fathers and daughters.
Please subscribe and email us at fdpodcast@yahoo.com with questions or episode topic suggestions.
Well, hello everybody. We're coming to you live from Old Man's Island in Riverside Port New Orleans Hotel in Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. We've been here, 4 days already?
This is day 4.
Day 4. And we couldn't go without recording a podcast this week. So we thought we would record here. We're using our phones and our microphones. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, this could very well be a train wreck, but that's okay.
It could.
Usually we're in a nice closed room. We are out in the open today. We're about 30 feet from the pool, trying to get some distance, trying to find a good space to record our podcast.
And we're just amateurs, so sometimes our sound is not very good anyways, so this won't be anything different.
No.
All right? So we just wanted to fill you all in on how things have been going with our vacation and our experience at Walt Disney World so far. But before we go there, I just want to ask you, how big was Disney for you growing up?
Okay, Disney was huge growing up because you were a massive Mickey Mouse fan. No, am currently a large Mickey Mouse fan, but you really were when I was growing up too. And so we had every copy, or every VHS, we had every VHS of every Disney movie made at that point, I guess. So we had that, and so I was always watching that. I remember I would watch Winnie the Pooh on repeat to the point where I broke the cassette tape. So yeah, just movies like that growing up. We always were the first ones to go see the new movies in the theaters. We've had Disney passes like 16 of the 21 years that I've been alive. So yeah, Disney was huge growing up. We were always at Disneyland, always doing the things. I actually won an award last year for the person who lives at Disneyland, because the person who gave me the award told me that they'll hang out with me, and then 45 minutes later, they'll see me on Instagram at Disneyland.
Her award from where?
It was from the youth group that I hang out with. Yeah,
I see.
The end of the year award. I got the I Live at Disneyland award.
How funny.
How about you? How big was Disney growing up?
Disney was big growing up with me too, because, like you said, I liked Mickey Mouse since I was a little kid, and growing up with not a lot of money, coming to Disneyland every year was such a big thing. My mom would save her money. She used to be on an allowance from my dad, and she used to put some money away from her allowance every time.
Interesting.
For the Disney fun that I don't even think he knew about. We had family that lived somewhat close to Disneyland, so our trip every year was to go visit our family members and then take a trip to Disneyland one of those days while we were here. And it was a big thing, because I feel like my mom sacrificed so much to get us here and take us to Disneyland. My dad went to Disneyland with us one time, and we were only there for about 2 hours. So
what happened?
He didn't like it because there was too many people.
Wow, that sounds familiar. Not to say we've ever left Disneyland significantly early, but I can say that you have, at a time or two, gotten a little too frustrated due to the amount of people at a specific area.
Well, and it's not like we had passes, so you could go in and then leave a couple hours after that. But they paid 4 entrances to Disneyland, and he got fed up, and there was too many people, and he got us all out of Disneyland. Can you imagine how we as kids felt when we look forward to going to Disneyland so much, and then 2 hours after being in there, we had to get out? And we ended up going to the Wax Museum after that, which was a big downer. But going back to how big Disney was in our lives, when I came to live in Riverside and I started dating Mom, that's when I got my first Disney pass. And I thought it was awesome that you could go to Disney every time you wanted. And back then, a season pass was only $99.
Yowza.
If that. So we started dating, and I think her parents bought us our first Disney passes. That was a great place for us just to go and spend time as a family, for us to date. That's where I proposed to Mom. Then you were born, and we took you to Disneyland at an early age. And, like you said, we've had passes almost 18 or 20 out of the 23, 24 years.
Yeah. I think being Disney people, you get bought in by this concept of Disney magic, and it's a term very commonly used. Most of you who aren't Disney people have probably heard it even so, but there's this level of Disney magic that's created in it, and we kind of narrowed it down when we were on this trip, saying Disney magic is an attention to detail.
Right.
Out of everything, it's an attention to detail, which I think most places like Universal or any other major
like Universal,
theme
North Prairie
park,
Farm, SeaWorld.
They miss that. They miss that attention to small detail. That when you put a Mickey head in the smallest, most inconspicuous of places, it's just so it's noticed by the few, and passed by the many. But yet, that's still considered Disney magic. We've also experienced a lot of Disney magic because we have Ryan, who's your son. He has autism. He's 18.
You're like your son.
He is your son. Is he not?
He's your brother.
He is my brother, but first he was your son.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, fine. My brother. We always joke that Disney's gift to us for Ryan having autism is the Disability Accessibility Pass, which allows us to kind of skip the lines at Disney.
Thank you, Walt Disney.
Thanks, Walt Disney. Because waiting in line with Ryan would be torture, because loud noises such as children screaming sets him off.
They set me off.
They set all of us off, for sure. So it's just cool being here. Being at Walt Disney World's really special because we've been saving for this for a long time. Mm-hmm. You and I have done a lot of weddings that have pretty much paid for this vacation.
And I've been working 2 jobs for the last few months.
Just a lot went into doing this vacation, and so it's nice to be able to just be here and enjoy that, regardless of what's going on back home or what's going through our email. We're just trying to figure out ways to just enjoy it and have a good time.
I got very emotional when we first got here because we worked so hard to get here, and there was so much anticipation and planning and waiting. Mm-hmm. And I've never been able to take you guys on a vacation on my own. Mm-hmm. Right? We've gone on a few road trips, but the big vacations we've gone on, Nan and Pop have sponsored a big part of those because they've taken the whole family on vacation. But this is the first trip that I'm able to take you guys on my own, or with Mom as parents, and it just feels good, and everything's paid for. We worked so hard to pay it off that we don't have anything lingering, that we're going to go back home and say, oh, we still have to pay for this vacation that we took, 2 months ago.
And it took a lot of DJ gigs to pay for. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were just so many. Over the past 13 months, you and I have just been doing gig after gig after gig and saying, well, this is just going to the vacation fund. Like, I wasn't getting paid, you weren't getting paid. It was just going towards this vacation.
Right.
Which makes me want to enjoy it all the more.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little bit more significant piece of that too. Like, this vacation holds a special place in my heart because I'm like, I know how hard you've worked for it, and I know how hard I've worked for it to do gigs in the hot sun, and or when it's freezing cold, and we just do it because it just kind of needs to get done at this point,
Yeah.
And we want to be able to enjoy our 7 days of just pleasure, Mm-hmm. I think that's a big piece of it too. I also think that there's a financial barrier to going on extravagant vacations, but I also think we haven't really been able to go on big vacations because our family just has limitations to it sometimes. My mom can't walk for long periods of time, and then we have Ryan, who is so good now, but that took years and years of training and work to get him mentally to the place where he is today. And we couldn't do things like this before because if a kid started screaming, he would bulldoze through anything in his path, anyone in his path, to just get away from the situation. And so that was never just an option. Like, airplanes weren't a thing. If there was a screaming kid on an airplane, like, there was no telling what he would do.
Right. He did so good traveling this time.
And he did so good traveling. And so, like, I was telling people before I left, I was like, I kind of feel like I'm getting my childhood back a little bit on this trip, because we've never been able to do anything like this. Like, I see all these tiny little kids running around at Walt Disney World, and I'm like, you're so, like, I just feel like, oh man, you're so lucky. Like, that's so cool. Like, it kind of, I'm like, I want to look at them and be like, treasure this,
Yeah.
you're gonna love it. And then I'm like, you're not gonna remember a thing in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you guys are paying for this 2-year-old to go on a vacation that you're probably not even going to be able to remember at some point in our lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, man, I kind of feel like I'm getting my childhood back a little bit, because we never got to do anything like this. And I'm so glad I'm doing it now rather than when I was 8 or 9, because I get to remember it and cherish it.
Like you were so deprived.
I wasn't
You lived-
deprived at all. I had Disney
lived in
passes.
Disneyland.
I had Disney passes, which
Yeah.
were great. But Walt Disney World to everybody else was always the dream.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like, I have Disneyland. Why would I want to go to Walt Disney World? And then as I got older, I was like, wow, and now I really want to go to Walt Disney World.
Yeah. Well, to me too. I mean, I never dreamed of coming to Walt Disney World. I have been here before, but that's because I had training here for work, and one of my coworkers' parents lived here and worked for Disney, so they let us in for a couple hours. But it's just different when you bring your family to Walt Disney World.
And I'm not saying that I was deprived in any way or that I didn't get this growing up or whatever, but it was like, there were just limitations our family had that we couldn't really do these things. And that doesn't mean that I had any less of a childhood than anybody else did, but I feel like I'm cherishing it more as an adult than I would have if I was 8.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, I can take it all in. It's so much easier to get around that we don't have a double stroller we're pushing with 4 diaper bags and 10 screaming kids running, like.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier now.
It's
I look
easy.
at some of these people, and that have newborns and toddlers, and it's like, oh.
Or like it poured rain yesterday. We were at Hollywood Studios and it just poured rain. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it rain that, and it looked like a monsoon. It was just crazy how bad it was raining. And we had ponchos, like we prepared ourselves. We had ponchos and all the rain gear we needed. We were totally fine. Our shoes were soaking wet. But other than that, we were like, we got this. Let's just do it. Like, let's chug on and make it happen. We paid a lot to be here. Let's make the most of it and just, let's do it, But I just saw these families running around and these small children with these, they had no ponchos, they had no umbrellas. It was hot, so no one was wearing like jeans and jackets because it was 85 degrees outside but pouring rain. They were just drenched, running around with screaming toddlers who, like, they were soaking wet. They have a right to be pissed off at some point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm so grateful that I'm here as an adult and that I'm able to just kind of like...
Yeah, that would have been torture if you guys were little and we had to go through that rain that we went through yesterday.
Yeah, no, it was not fun.
And even today, we're here around the pool, and like we said earlier, we just want a resort for adults, right?
So Disney, if you're listening, this is our suggestion to you. I feel as though Disney's kind of like the government. They're always listening.
Oh, it's possible,
staying
especially here.
We're staying at their resort. I feel like there's microphones.
Especially here.
They're listening to our every conversation, and that's okay. But I want you to know, we would love to have an 18-plus resort.
Yes, 18 and older.
18 and older. They don't even need to be 21, just 18 and older.
Yeah.
So
I think it would be a good idea to have an 18-plus resort.
That'd be a game changer. Like, that would for real be a game changer.
Well, and people say that that's not what Walt Disney World wanted. That he wanted families to come here with kids, but come on.
I'm a childless millennial, and I'll take everybody's pretzel.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we were at a character breakfast this morning. And there was this kid sitting next to us at breakfast who was just jumping and screaming and squealing, and mom and dad were trying to calm her down with bribing her with different things. And I was like, just leave.
They were rewarding her for bad behavior.
Yes. And it was just so frustrating to be the adult in the situation. Like, please just discipline your children because you're making everybody else's experience suck.
Yeah. So let's debrief our last few days. Oh, wait, before we go there, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh gosh. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I just love that movie.
Yeah, we named you Belle because of Beauty and the Beast.
Bull. What's your favorite Disney movie?
Pinocchio.
I did know that.
Uh-huh.
Why Pinocchio?
I like Pinocchio because he had to go through difficult times and prove himself to be rewarded with eventually being a real boy. And throughout his challenges, he had to deal with temptation and just stuff that wasn't good for him. And even though he fell into it, eventually, he got rescued and he realized that what he did was wrong and he got rewarded. I feel like it applies to life a lot. Why do you like Beauty and the Beast?
Well, first, Bella's awesome. I think she's great. I love that this story is just about true love. It's not about like Belle very easily could have just left the castle and said, well, good riddance to ya, whatever. She could have left the beast there dying. She could have gotten on her horse. When the wolves attacked, she could have just left him there. And instead, she took him in and tried to care for him and teach him how to be suitable. And she was the one that changed him, And I just like that. I like that the story's about true love. I like that I like the stories about someone changing who they are. Because I think change is really possible. Yeah, I just like that the movie's about change.
Yeah.
I feel like that applies to life.
Your nickname Belle was given to you by Madison Brown.
Yes, it was.
So ever since then, we've called you Belle, and it just fits you, and it's great that you like that movie. And I think it was all part of, I don't know, we just thought since your nickname was Belle, then you were gonna like that movie, and we just started getting you Belle stuff.
And my favorite color is yellow, so I mean,
it just
all
works out
worked out.
perfectly.
It just all worked out.
Yeah. All right, so let's debrief this last week. We got here on Wednesday night, right? What did you think about traveling that day?
It was great.
Really? Traveling days are my least favorite. Because
obviously. But it wasn't bad by any means.
No, I was expecting a lot worse.
Why?
I don't know, because I always want things to go as planned, and I'm always hoping that something's not going to be out of whack. Like, I was worried about traffic. I was worried about not making our connecting flight. I think once we got on the San Antonio flight, my worry level just went down. Once we were sitting there and we knew that we were on our way to Orlando, it was fine. But there are so many variables, when you travel with a family of 4, that can affect many different things, and that to me is a bit stressful.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't feel that at all. I was really relaxed the whole time. I don't know, I just don't worry about that kind of stuff. But I'm not the organizer, you are. I mean, I can organize these things if I have to, but this was all you this time, so I was like, cool. I just kind of sat back and enjoyed my flights and had a great time. Day 1 was Epcot.
What did you think about Epcot?
I liked Epcot. I didn't love it. I think I'd love it if I went back again. But I went in this time not knowing anything, not having seen anything. So being at like Walt Disney World, Epcot doesn't have a lot of Disney magic.
Right.
There is no characters. Nothing's really themed Disney, I guess you could say. So I wasn't really blown away by the Disney aspect of Epcot, but the aspect of Epcot to just be what it is was great.
You're right. There's no characters.
There's no characters.
Walking around.
There's very little like Mickey heads anywhere. There's just not really any Disney-esque anything there. Which doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, I just went in with a false pretense thinking that it was a little bit more Disney magic than it was.
Yeah.
But the park was great. Test Track was awesome. Mission Space was great. Like, all these rides are fantastic. And then the World Showcase was phenomenal. We ate and drank our way through the world, which was so fun and so upbeat. Having champagne in France and creme brulee and having German beer. Like, just doing all of the things was just so fun. The lobster roll from New England and all these things was just so fun. It was just a really, really cool experience, but it wasn't very Disney to me, and I was a little disappointed by that.
The Food and Wine Festival was going on, so that was cool. Just trying different foods and different booths.
That's what really sold it for me, was the food. The food and drink was just great.
Yeah, that was really good. Then the next day we went to Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
Okay, and what did you think about that?
I loved Magic Kingdom.
I loved it too.
I loved it, but it made me miss Disneyland.
Do you like it more than Disney?
Like Disneyland? Oh no, not at all.
I'm like on the edge.
I love Disneyland so much more. Disneyland just has, Magic Kingdom is just too big. I mean, bigger doesn't always mean better. That's just the reality. Magic Kingdom is so much larger. That doesn't mean it's better. Disneyland's a little bit more concise.
It packed.
I don't know. I think Magic Kingdom was just as packed as Disneyland.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. The rides are great. They were cool. It was cool getting to see something. It was like seeing a spin-off of your favorite show. That's kind of like what it was. You have the characters that you love, and it's great, and you kind of have the same scenery that you love, which is great, but it's not the original show. It's just a really cool, fun spin-off.
Yeah.
The castle was gorgeous. We're going back there on Tuesday.
Right.
So in 2 days, we'll go back to Magic Kingdom and do our second day at Magic Kingdom. So I'm looking forward to it for sure. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing the different rides and the spin-offs on the regular rides, but it's just not the original.
Yeah, I liked it. I did get a little teary-eyed when I saw the castle because
A little teary-eyed?
it was just something that I've been wanting to see for a long time.
It was cool. It was this, like, I've been waiting for this for so long. I mean, we've been planning this trip for 13 months. So to just get to see it and, like, be in its ambiance was just mind-blowing. Just getting to be there and getting to... It was surreal. It was one of those moments in life that you were like, I'm going to have this mental image in my head forever. Of just seeing it and being here and knowing that this was Walt's vision was just kind of breathtaking.
Yeah. We covered a lot of the park the first day.
Well, we have Ryan's accessibility pass.
Yeah.
And you booked our fast passes very strategically. And so we did all of Adventureland, Frontierland, and probably 80% of Fantasyland all in one day. And we did the parade, and we did a castle. We did all the things in Main Street. So when we go back on Tuesday, it's going to be more of Tomorrowland and finishing Fantasyland.
And then whatever we have left.
One of the things that blew me away was their parade.
The parade was really cool.
I was like, that's what made me teary-eyed.
Well, because it was very different. Because it's something we have never seen before.
It. And it was
that dragon was fantastic.
That was the thing, though, is that the only things that I was the most impressed by were the things of Disney I'd never seen before. Like the Magic Carpet's Aladdin ride. It's the same ride design as Dumbo, but it's a different ride. That was probably the ride I was the most impressed by. Like, I enjoyed that ride more than probably any other ride. Because, or the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. We don't have that on Disneyland. So I want to come here and have things that are Disney that we don't have at Disneyland. Like, I wasn't too impressed with Haunted Mansion. I wasn't too impressed with Jungle Cruise or Pirates. So I was like, I have these here. So you have one tiny thing that's different. Big deal. I don't really care. I want to go to the things that are different. So seeing the parade and the different floats and the different characters just absolutely blew me away.
I actually like Jungle Cruise here better because they have that temple area, you know, where you go inside the tunnel. Yeah, I like our Pirates better.
Oh, for sure. It's longer.
I also like our Haunted Mansion better. I do like the stairs room.
There's a different room in Haunted Mansion that you go into right at the beginning. Whereas at Disneyland, you would walk through parts of this ride. You ride through those parts of the ride here at Walt Disney World, and you go through a room where there's all these different staircases, and there's footprints that move and fade on the
I thought that was really cool. Even though it's Halloween season, they don't have their Haunted Mansion decorated for Nightmare Before Christmas, and that was disappointing. At least we got to see what the ride is originally.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're right, the mine train was awesome. I was disappointed with Small World. I mean, I know you don't like that ride anyways, but at Disneyland, Small World is such a big piece of Fantasyland. I mean, just the facade, right?
Yeah.
And here, it's not that big of a deal. No. So I'm excited to see what the rest of it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, and then so day 3 was Hollywood Studios. What did you think of Hollywood Studios?
I was very stressed the first 4 hours probably because I feel responsible for you guys having a good time. I feel that burden that if things are not perfect, if you guys are not having a good time, then I'm not doing a good job as a dad. So for the first 4 hours, it was pouring rain.
It was more than pouring rain. It was like bucketing
It was like
rain.
monsoon. And I just felt that burden of, you know, I just want my family to have a good time. and we had to deal with ponchos. We had to deal with shoes getting wet. We had to deal with Ryan complaining about raining. But I think we just kind of pulled it together, and we just said, well, F it, we're just going to make the best of it. And we covered most of the park by 3 o'clock. And then we went back to the room, slept for a couple hours, and then we came back for Fantasmic.
I feel like I tried yesterday, and I hope you saw it a little bit, was that I totally see that you carry that burden.
I carried that burden during the whole trip.
And I hope you understand that we notice that you carry that burden. And I hope you wouldn't carry that so much.
It's hard to relax knowing that,
sure.
or feeling that I am responsible for you guys enjoying your trip.
I don't know. We could be at one park for 5 days and I'd be happy. It's not that anything's bad or anything's different. It's just that we're here. It's the big picture of that we're on vacation. We're on the vacation. More specifically, we're on the vacation, and that doesn't mean that you should have to carry that burden.
Yeah,
you really shouldn't.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't, but that's.
Yesterday was great. Everyone hates Hollywood Studios. Everyone I've talked to is like, don't spend a whole day at Hollywood Studios. I kind of loved it.
I know, it was cool. It felt like California Adventure a little bit.
It did. It felt like, especially going from, and I'm going to suggest this to people who are in works of a Walt Disney World vacation, go to Hollywood Studios after you go to
Magic Kingdom. Yes, I agree.
Don't go before, because you'll always feel underwhelmed by it.
I agree.
But go after Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom's going to be the mind stopper. But you're going to go to Hollywood Studios and be like, wow, okay, today's a little bit more
chill,
low key. Personally, I felt like I went in with a little bit less stress this time. I was a little bit less like about the whole thing. I kind of liked the rain. It was just like, we're in Florida. Like, this is what happens in Florida, and you embrace it. And of all the parks for that to happen, I'm glad it was Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it was fun. It was, I kind of enjoyed it. I could see that you were really stressed, but I was like, this is what people who live here go through. This is what they do. Just like how when we go to Disneyland, sometimes we gotta wear sunscreen because we need to moisturize our limbs because it's so dry and so hot.
I just didn't think it was gonna rain that much. We had our ponchos, but we didn't wear appropriate shoes.
No, so our shoes were just soaking wet.
Yeah.
Like I can't even explain it to where it was that bad.
But once we got past our shoes are wet now, so what the heck? I think we just.
And when you walk around and see other people not having ponchos or umbrellas, you're like, well, at least I'm not them.
Yeah.
And there came a point in the day where we were both just like, we're getting wet. This is the reality of the day. Mm-hmm. Either get on board or we'll go back to the hotel. And we all kind of said, let's rally.
Yeah.
We're going to get wet. It is what it is. We're still here. We're still having fun. Let's make the most of just being wet.
Yeah, it was fun. I really like Galaxy's Edge. Toy Story Land was cool.
The Frozen sing-along show.
The Frozen sing-along was good.
That was Ryan's only request, and the only thing he talked about for weeks was this stupid Frozen sing-along spectacular. And I won't lie, it was probably one of the best parts of the whole day.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was funny. It was enjoyable. If you're going to Walt Disney World and you're going to hit up Hollywood Studios, do this show. If you're an adult, if you're a child, you just sing the Frozen songs at the top of your lungs, and there's these comedians who come out and just poke fun and say punny things, and it's great. And then Fantasmic. What did you think of Fantasmic?
I was disappointed with Fantasmic. I think our Fantasmic is better. I really like the stadium seating.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that setup, but I think our Fantasmic is better.
If you've been to SeaWorld, the setup's kind of like the Shamu show, in a sense, where there's this small amphitheater stadium seating type vibe. It's kind of that size too, to where you can fit a significant amount of people in there, and then there's a big stage, and then there's water around the front of the stage. So if you've been to Universal, it's kind of like Waterworks.
Water
World. Is that what it's called?
Water
World.
World.
It's kind of like that. We got about halfway through our Frozen show, and I was looking online, and I saw this Frozen dining dinner or dessert.
Fantasmic.
Fantasmic dessert package, and I was like, what? So I looked into it. It was $39 a person, and you got a souvenir cup and a full dessert platter, and then VIP seating. And I was like, well, let's try it. I would not pay $39 for that again.
I was very disappointed.
I was not super impressed by it. I loved the souvenir mug. It came with endless drinks all night, so you got free refills on your on your souvenir mug
until the show started.
And then, so we got there an hour early, so we took full advantage of a whole hour of that. And then we had this like really cool dessert platter thing, which was cool. And then we had kind of VIP seating anyway because Mom was in her wheelchair. So for sure probably wouldn't pay for that again. But it was a really cool experience. And we got this really cool lanyard that says Fantasmic all over it. And I thought that was pretty cool. But
yeah, I wouldn't pay for it again. I think
but it
that
was cool for the experience we had.
Yeah, I think that was a waste of money. I don't think our seating was. If we were on the first couple rows, that would have been VIP seating.
Yeah.
But we weren't.
But Mom was comfortable, and the people we sat next to, we made friends with. And I think we just made the best of it. But I thought it was really fun.
I guess.
I had a really good time last night.
I want to go over some things that we have experienced for those people that are coming to Walt Disney World.
Ooh.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about was Fantasmic. Okay. You know, I wanted to tell people, do not pay the extra money for the VIP seating. If this was Disneyland, yes.
Pay for the dining package, do the dessert package for Disneyland. It is 110%
I wish we would have done this at Disneyland.
I wish we would have too.
The seating here doesn't require additional VIP seating or whatever. No. So don't waste your money on that.
No.
The memory maker, totally worth it. Totally worth it. So if you're planning on coming here,
it's like a photo pass where whenever you see cast members who have cameras around the park, they take your picture. It's a very high quality camera with high quality photos. And then they scan your Magic Band or your pass, and they give you, then they send you those photos without watermarks or anything like that on there. So
it's $130 if you buy it. I think 30 days in advance, and totally worth it.
We have taken advantage of that like crazy. Sometimes
that is money well spent.
Sometimes they'll send you videos.
Yeah.
That include you in your photo with like Tinkerbell and all. So cool.
Yeah. Ponchos.
Must
bring some ponchos with you and buy them before you come to the park.
Get high quality ponchos.
Get high quality ponchos, because we bought ponchos on Amazon that were Disney ponchos, and they ripped the first day.
Right down the center front, like right down where your chest line is, right down the front.
And we had to buy ponchos here anyways.
Don't find any high quality ponchos. Wait till you get here. Buy Disneyland ponchos. They were $12, and they have been spectacular.
I don't know. I would
buy them beforehand if you can find them for cheaper.
Before.
But they were great. Rain boots.
No, I wouldn't bring rain boots here. I would just bring flip-flops.
Yeah, you're not gonna need. If you want your feet totally and completely dry on a day that it's pouring rain, go for some rain boots. But honestly, I wish I would have just had sandals yesterday.
Yeah. Just sandals and your tennis shoes and socks in your backpack. So when it stops raining, you can switch into your shoes and vice versa.
Yeah.
Meal plan. Totally worth it.
It's kind of like a cruise. And I've never been on a cruise, but what I've heard you guys say is that the cruise is... I have been to an all-inclusive resort, which is great because you never, ever have to worry about how much is dinner going to cost. Oh my gosh, if I order this, is it going to add this much more to the bill? You don't have to worry about any of that. At an all-inclusive resort, you don't have to worry about that at all, because there's no concept of having to worry about how much is this going to cost. I'm going to have to pay for this tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have 3 more days worth of dinners to pay for. Nope. That worry is just gone. It's a mind thing. And
you do get a limited amount of meals.
Sure.
I mean, the meal plan that we have gives you 1 quick service, 2 snacks, and 1 sit-down dinner every night. What was cool about the snacks is that we were able to use snack credits at Epcot at all of those food and wine festival booths. So that was really cool.
So we technically didn't eat lunch that day at all. Because from about 10 to 6, we just snacked on things from different worlds, which allowed us to try 10 to 12 different tiny things. That even Ryan got noodles from Japan and ramen and all these things that he was able to get to try too that we wouldn't have been able to do. We got this pork Hawaiian roll from the Hawaii booth.
Yeah.
That was just a game changer.
So yeah, do the meal plan. It's not cheap, but it's totally worth it. It's great peace of mind. And yeah, you might just have to worry about buying a few meals here and there, but totally worth it. The bus transportation at the resorts are great. They come like every 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And they take you from your resort to the park and back.
Yeah,
Or if you
super
want to
great.
go from one resort to another park, they're great. And also the monorail. The monorail is a lot more extensive here than it is at Disneyland.
Oh yeah, it acts almost as a subway.
Yeah, so
Than anything else.
that's great. The magic bands are cool.
So cool.
So cool. I wish Disneyland had magic bands because
can
they
do,
they get you
tickets,
everywhere.
Fast passes, meals, everything.
Yeah,
It acts as your room key. All the things.
yeah, really cool. So to close this podcast, and we'll probably do we'll do Walt Disney World 2 podcast maybe next week, just so we can
a full debrief.
just so we can debrief the next couple days. But to close this podcast, I have some Disney trivia for you.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Okay, and I want to know if you know
Okay.
these facts.
Okay.
First question: who's the youngest Disney princess?
Rapunzel.
That is wrong.
What is it? Who is it?
Snow White.
Oh, do they even say how old she is?
No, but they say that according to just the information that's out there, she should be 14 years old.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that.
Who is the only Disney princess who isn't actually royalty?
Tiana.
That's incorrect.
Tiana's not a princess. Oh well, she wasn't at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Okay, hold on, let me try again. I'm like racking my brain right now. This is so stressful. Mulan's not a princess.
You're correct.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant like at the beginning of the movie or like
That's correct.
after the movie.
Okay. Who is the only Disney princess who was inspired by an actual person?
I'm sorry, who was inspired?
Yes.
Was it
The,
Rapunzel?
the character was inspired by an actual person. Historical figure.
Oh, Pocahontas.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't know if you meant like they drove them to do the thing that they were successful for. I was like, I think they were all inspired by someone.
True.
But
What was the first Mickey Mouse cartoon to be produced in color?
in color.
Yes.
That was the band.
Very good. Band concert.
Band concert.
Okay. Walt Disney created an initial character which he illustrated for Universal Studios.
Oh, I should know this.
When his request for a bigger budget was rejected, he left Universal and decided to create his new character, who became Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, who was the original character?
Who was the original character?
Crap. Oh, I like watched a documentary on this just recently, and I don't know who it is.
Not the original character, because it's not like the original Mickey. But
No, but
what
it's
what
someone
character
else,
did
someone
he
else.
did he use and he have in mind before Mickey Mouse for Universal?
I don't remember. Who was it?
Oswald the Lucky
That's
Rabbit.
right, Oswald.
Who was the only Disney main character who did not talk throughout the entire film?
Main Disney character?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't know. Who was it?
It was Dumbo.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. He did not talk.
In Fantasia, who was supposed to be the Sorcerer's Apprentice? Originally, it wasn't supposed to be Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Dopey.
What?
That role was supposed to be for Dopey.
What? Oh, that's weird.
And then Walt Disney said, let's try Mickey Mouse. And
Interesting.
Mickey Mouse
I didn't know that.
was.
That's a new piece of information for me. I had no idea.
Do you know what movie Walt Disney was able to work on before he died? Like the last movie
The
he
last
worked on?
movie he worked on?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Trust in me.
Oh, it was Jungle Book.
It was Jungle Book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And last question.
Okay.
What school did the characters of High School Musical attend?
Oh no! Oh no!
If you don't know this, I'm going to be so disappointed
tell you the
because
mascot.
this is your era right here.
I can tell you the mascot. They're the Wildcats.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, all of my friends that are my age are going to shame me. I'm going to be shamed.
I can't believe you don't know this question.
I don't know it.
East High School.
Oh, East High. Yeah, that would have never come to me.
Okay.
They say it like twice in the movie. I'm so disappointed in myself. Thank you for making me feel like crap about myself. I appreciate it.
Sorry, I should have included some Hannah Montana questions in there and some Kim
been
Possible.
Yeah, I totally would have been able to answer some Disney Channel trivia, but
Yeah.
I think I did okay.
You did okay.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. No, you did good.
I would have to say that probably the general population does not know the answers to those questions.
Probably not.
So
on our next Disney podcast, you have to have some trivia for me.
okay, I'll have some trivia ready for you.
Okay.
Okay. So tonight we go to a Ohana dinner at the Polynesian Resort.
Right?
I think Lilo and Stitch are going to be there, right?
I hope so.
Pretty looking forward to that. I actually brought like a dress that looks a little Hawaiian to wear for that dinner, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, that should be fun.
So we're gonna go back to our hotel, get dolled up a little bit, and go to a nice dinner as a family.
Then go to the Polynesian Resort.
It's like a
That should be
multiple
fun.
course dinner, so I'm really looking forward to that. So, and then just to get you guys all ready, because I'm super psyched about this. On Tuesday, we are going to Be Our Guest, which is dinner at the Beauty and the Beast Castle in Magic Kingdom, and I am that'll be the moment I cry on this trip.
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to the meal plan, you know, these are cool, fancy dinners that are included in the meal plan. Some of them take 2 credits, so we plan for it, so we would have these cool Disney dinner experiences, even if they took 2 meal credits. But
we planned strategically to make sure.
Yeah, and you know, we knew we were going to have to pay for some other meals here and there, but totally worth it. Going back to that.
So to finish, I want to tell a quick story and then we'll wrap up.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yes.
So yesterday 2 days ago we were in Magic Kingdom, and my brother Ryan, I didn't say your son, you're welcome.
Oh, he's my son
is
too.
super into meeting characters. Like that's his thing. That's all he wants to do is just meet characters. So I bought him an autograph book for him to use here, and he goes around and gets everyone's autograph, and he's just all about it. And so as we're walking through Magic Kingdom yesterday, we saw the fairy godmother walking through, going to her character meet spot, and we saw her, and Ryan freaked out, wanted to go meet her, and so you guys went and hopped in line. And as we're waiting in line, there's a family in front of us who has a child with a
quadriplegic
disability, and so he was nonverbal, he couldn't move, he was wheelchair bound, and so they were up next, and so the fairy godmother has a very, very brief encounter with the 2 other children in the party who are able to walk and running around screaming, and she has a very brief encounter with them, and then very quickly turns her attention over to the little boy in the wheelchair, and she gets so close to him that she's about 2 inches from his face, and she starts taking her robe and starts rubbing it against his cheek
as she's talking to
him. And you can hear her words, and she's just telling him how beautifully and wonderfully he's been made. And I'm getting emotional just talking about it.
I know, it made me cry too.
And it was just so cool to watch her just love and care for this boy. And then the reason she would rub his cheek against his face is that a lot of children who have disabilities react differently to sensory touch, to where things feel different and feel unique. And so to have the feel of her robe against his skin was soft and calming for him. And so she would just touch him and feel him and tell him how wonderfully and beautifully he's been made. And then she would kiss his cheek every once in a while. And just this smile.
His reaction was awesome.
The smile on his face was just, it was so moving.
It was priceless. That's Disney magic right there.
It was so moving and it was so changing. And then the mom started to cry. And it was just cool to see people who have a gift for reaching other people, and to use Disney as a path to do that was so changing. and that's a different experience for us because we live with a kid who has disabilities, and so to see someone who loves and cares for them just like we do is just so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And then Ryan went up there, and she very quickly caught on to the fact that he has autism and had a unique experience and a unique encounter with him. I was so blessed to be able to go up and just tell her how thankful I was, and that what she was doing was being noticed by people who see it differently. And she just told me, she grabbed me and she was holding me, and she just told me, she whispered in my ear, she goes, I'm so blessed to do the work that I get to do. And she's like, to not use my gift to help others would be a sin. So it was just really cool. It was a really unique experience. I just wanted to give you that nice little piece of story before we left.
Yeah, that was great. This DJ over at the pool right now is killing me.
I know, he's ruining our vibes right now, so sorry if that's conflicting, but yeah.
Hopefully you can hear us.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
All of you 2 listeners out there, I hope you guys have a good week.
Hey, my friend Nick listened, so that's 3.
Hey, Mr. Sutherland, so that's
4.
4. Mom, that's 5.
She's one of 2, though. She
okay.
was one of the original 2.
Okay, Nan says she listens, so...
Oh, there you go.
And Maritza. So, okay, all of you 5 listeners, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Have a good day. Thank you for listening to the Fathers and Daughters podcast, a Musket Entertainment production. For questions, comments, or topic ideas, email fdpodcast@yahoo.com. Please subscribe and tune in every week for new episodes.